Hello everyone, it is Joe here from Omnipoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon, and today I am testing out my new HD webcam. Hopefully you all enjoy this video and the slightly better quality that we're getting. It was on my Mac before, now we've got a nice shiny webcam for Christmas, so hopefully everything looks a bit nicer and in better focus. So this is as much as anything just to test out the camera, but I thought I may as well show off a new deck that I've also been playing at the moment. It's relatively untested, I'll be honest, but a very interesting Six Prizes article spoke about this deck, and I implore you to check it out and read it. It's an underground article if you want to see the whole thing and the list and everything. But in theory, this deck has a lot of good matchups, and it's pretty consistent as well. So my list isn't card for card the same as the person who wrote the article. The name escapes me for now, but yeah, it's pretty close, and I feel like this is actually quite a nice deck, and it has good matchups around the board. So it's Mega Manectric, so we're playing 3 Manectric EX. His attacks aren't great, but Assault Laser can be good at times. It's pretty good against Seismitoad, and it's pretty good against Yveltal EX as well. 2 popular decks in the format, so even the non-Mega, his second attack can be quite useful, and all of his attacks are cheap, so that's nice. And we play 3 Mega EX as well. This is the one that the deck centers around, really. 210 HP, it's just really bulky. Hopefully I can stand it up so you guys can see it quite nicely without any glare. The big issue is that he has a weakness to fighting, as you can see down there. I'll talk about how we mitigate that in a second with its partners. But basically, Turbo Bolts, 110, really good number. And you attach 2 basics from the discard onto one of your bench Pokemon. So very good acceleration, very good damage. We're 2-shotting pretty much anything. We 1-shot Pyro, which is amazing because we're a Mega EX, so we've technically evolved. So Pyro really struggles against this. Obviously, the typing makes it very difficult for Yveltal. Even if they do play Shadow Circle, it's difficult because we're only attaching 2 energy to our Pokemon. And with 210 HP, it's difficult for them to take 1-shots. It's just a really strong card, inherently strong I would call it, because just 2 energy to attack, kind of cheap cost, good HP, and you accelerate energy as well, so it's very strong. There's good combos you can make with him as well. If you have 2 in play, you can max potion your active, switch into the other one, and then reattach those energies with this Turbo Bolt. So there's a lot of good things you can do with this card, very, very strong, and I can see why people are starting to get creative and see how this works. The only issue is fighting weak, and there's a very popular deck at the moment. You may have heard of it, it's Donphan, and we need to counteract that. So a lot of people have gone down the route of Plasma Kyurem, maybe the Outrage Kyurem, pairing it with Water Energies, sometimes Tornadus and stuff like that. But we've actually gone for Zapdos, and this is what was so interesting about the article. Zapdos is actually a great way of dealing with Donphan. For those of you who don't know what it does, Random Spark for a Lightning Double Colorless does 50 to one of your opponent's bench. So we ignore the active, just like Donphan likes to do. They like to throw something specific into the active position so that you can't damage their stuff on the bench. Zapdos ignores that and starts sniping. But the good thing is he has resistance to fighting and 120 HP. So it's going to take a Donphan with a Muscle Band and a Strong Energy 2 hits to knock this guy out at least, just for 1 prize. And I say at least because we have tools in the deck to make it very difficult for your opponent to actually get a 2-shot if they're playing Donphan against Zapdos. Normally this guy's going to be out on the field for 3 turns minimum, honestly. One of the reasons why is we play 2 Jinx. Jinx is a card from Furious Fists, and it has Victory Kiss ability. Once during your turn, you may heal 10 from your active. So having the resistance and the 120 with 1 or 2 Jinx down, you can make it very, very difficult for your opponent's Donphan to deal with Zapdos. 3 turns, you can kill one of the Donphans just with Random Spark. You can target Horluchas for easy prizes. You can target Sigilyph. It just really hurts Donphan, and if they want to throw out the sub-robots, they're going to have to keep discarding them anyway, because we're not going to attack it. So Zapdos is a very, very good card against Donphan, and basically the idea is you just don't use Mega Manectric at all. You manually attach your way through that whole game, relying on this resistance and having these Jinx here to heal up your Zapdos, making it very difficult for them to take knockouts with Shred. Not Shred, I mean Spinning Turn. And then their second attack, Wreck, is the only real way that they can kill Zapdos. And because that's a bit of a problem, we need to play 2 Mewtwo. Basically, if they want to wreck you, you just bring up Mewtwo and respond with a DCE, X-Ball, and knock out another Donphan. So the Donphans that you kill with Zapdos just sniping, and then when they eventually get to wreck you, you can X-Ball them for a knockout. And we all know that if Donphan can't attack for a turn or two, they're not spinning turning, we're in really good shape, especially because it gives us time to once again build up another Zapdos. We play 3, so throughout the game this guy's going to be a pain. It's not like they just deal with 1 counter. We're playing 3 and the 2 Mewtwo to X-Ball. Very, very difficult for Donphan to overcome this deck. And basically, we have tailored the deck to beat Donphan with all these techs and stuff, but that's because we beat pretty much everything else just on its own, just by Mega Manectric EX being a beast. That's all we do. So the only thing that's really difficult is Donphan, and as you can see, we've committed 7 Pokemon to beating that matchup, and in my opinion, it works quite well. Next up, we have one Spiritomb. This guy didn't feature in the 6 prizes article, and it surprised me because it's one of the only things, a G-Booster plus Deoxys, that can actually kill a Mega Manectric EX. So I thought it was a natural inclusion just to throw a Spiritomb in here. I mean, we have abilities, and Virgen's not going to lock that out, so we may as well play Spiritomb, and it just means that we can get off our max potion combos and stuff even on Virgin, which is important. Otherwise, we'd have a bit of a shaky matchup, in my opinion. So I felt like this was a natural inclusion. The final Pokemon that we have is a Jirachi. Stellar Guidance just makes it more consistent. This deck really enjoys it because we're trying to get a couple of pieces of a puzzle together, really, in the opening turns. Even when we're playing Donphan, we've got to find these Zapdoses and the Jinxes and get everything going nicely and smoothly. For Mega Manectric, you need to find the Spirit Link and the Manectric EX at the right time, and having Jirachi just helps you grab your Skylar or the supporter that you need for these puzzle pieces to get it all working smoothly. So I really like Jirachi. It's just nice and consistent, and we don't mind losing the 2 prizes sometimes because, I mean, we're going to be healing with this guy anyway, and if they're attacking the Jirachi instead of this, you're happy enough because they're just not dealing with a threat, and really you don't even have to bench all 6 prizes other than the Mega Manectrics. So Jirachi, I like, obviously starting with it's horrible, but actually using the Stellar Guidance, it outweighs its sort of 2 prize cost. If they want to capture it, it outweighs that a lot. So onto trainers. Comp Search, pretty obvious. It can search out DCE, only card in the game that can right now. Just ups consistency. Like I say, we've got to find these puzzle pieces to get the Manectric together. Not many decks need to do that at the moment. They just find their EX and start bursting. And we need the Mega to pull off, so Comp Search helps us get there. Just a good consistency booster as well. 1 Professor's Letter, very important because we can dump energy for Mega Manectric's Turbo Bolt attack, so we can find it just to like Sycamore away or Ultra Ball away or Comp Search away or whatever. Also, we need it for attacking, of course. So Professor's Letter, just a searchable, like you can Skylar for letter, so searchable energy. It's cool. 2 switches, even though Mega Manectric has a free retreat cost, Mewtwo doesn't, Zapdos doesn't, and if you start with Jirachi or Spiritomb, you want to move them out of the way, or Jinx even. So switch is just necessary for moving those guys around. And if you're asleep and stuff, you want to get out of poison. 2 Max Potion, very important card in the deck. It really makes it difficult for your opponent to take all prizes against this guy. Like I said earlier on, there's that combo where if you get 2 out, you've pretty much won the game because you can Max Potion this guy, retreat into this one, and then move the energy, Turbo Bolt the energy back on, and then you can keep retreating each time and stacking up all these attackers out of nowhere. And with the Max Potion, unless they like tell me a deck that can hit 110, and I'll like say yeah, fair enough, but nothing can, really nothing can. So only Donphan, and obviously against Donphan we have the other route to go with Zapdos. The only other thing is Landorus Lucario, but it's a fringe deck at the moment, even though I support it. And I've sort of pleaded my case for why you guys should look into it as well. Most people aren't looking at playing that at the moment. I think it would have a field day against this deck, to be fair, but it's probably the only thing that can stand up to Manectric and Zapdos together. Either way, Max Potion, amazing. That's what I'm trying to say. Manectric EX will survive, so especially with the Jinxes as well. The Jinxes aren't just good for Zapdos. I mean, they serve the purpose amazingly for Zapdos, but Jinx makes it very difficult even to two-shot Manectric EX, because 210 plus you can heal 20 in between turns, or on your turn, I mean. So it's like a mini potion. It's really difficult to just deal with this guy. That's the thing. Inherently strong. I can't put it any other way. Just the numbers work well in this deck. 2 Battle Compressor. It's another way that we can get rid of lightnings for the Manectric. We can also thin out the deck. Very important. I've been saying a lot about matchups, and against different things, you're going to want different attackers. If you're against Donphan, these are the 6 dead cards in your deck. You want to battle compress them away so that they don't cost you late game when you're being end. If you're just running with this guy, you don't really need your Zapdos, or you don't really need your Spiritomb. You can throw them away with Battle Compressor. Of course, we can throw away energy as well. We can throw away dead trainers sometimes if they're not playing special energy. I've just shown off the hammers there, haven't I? There they are. Did I even talk about them? I don't think I did. I think I skipped right past them. Anyway, there's 2 enhanced hammer. It helps out with Donphan, and it helps out slowing down most of the decks as well. When I say it slows down Donphan, it stops them wrecking on your Zapdos too quickly. Like, you can get rid of strong energies and DCEs if they start stacking them up, so that's cool. Anyway, Battle Compressor, very important. But the other reason why it's good is because we are playing 3 VS Seeker. So it's another out to a supporter. If you use Battle Compressor and you have a VS Seeker in hand but no supporter, you can compress away the supporter that you want and then VS Seeker to find it. It's just another neat combo in the deck. It gives us a lot of outs to supporters. With the VS Seeker Battle Compressor combo and the Jirachi Ultra Ball combo, we're pretty consistent, to be honest. 3 VS Seeker, very important. It means that we can spam the trainers that the supporters that we need at the right times. So, yeah, everyone's playing VS Seeker at the moment, it seems. Next up, we're playing 4 Ultra Ball, the only 4-of trainer in the deck. It's just sick. We need it for Jirachi, making it consistent, and we need to find these Mega Manectrics at the right times. So we gotta find them, and 4's just the most consistent way of doing that. Also, we can discard energies and dead cards on the deck with Ultra Ball. There is a lot of dead stuff in each matchup, so you really need to thin out the deck, and Ultra Ball really helps you do that. So Ultra Ball's awesome. Obviously, finding your Pokemon's important. Finally, for trainers, we've got the 3 Spirit Link. I mean, you can't not play Spirit Link, really. And it's the only tool we play in the deck. Muscle Band really doesn't help us out, because we're hitting 110 and he's always going to have a Spirit Link on him. Zapdos is sniping, so he doesn't need like a Muscle Band to improve our damage. The only thing I would put in, if I was to put a tool in, that would be Hard Charm, honestly. It serves the purpose that Jinx does, really, for Zapdos. That would be the only tool I'd think about putting in. But, I mean, stuff like Jinx, they work under Trainer Lock and stuff. So, that's cool. Because not every Silencio player has Garbodor. But, yeah. Next up, supporters. Only 1 Lysander. Think for a second why everyone plays Lysander. It's because of Donphan. And because you can take prizes and stuff. Well, we are playing 3 VS Seeker and 2 Compressors. So, as soon as we Compressor, this is one of the targets that I'm often looking for early on. So that we have the 3 chances to hit him off with the VS Seekers. But also, VS Seeker's mainly in here for Donphan. Most players need to play like 2 of him, because you need to keep capturing up the Donphans to kill them. But remember, we're sniping with Zapdos. We don't even need to Lysander. Maybe to stall, but that's about it. We don't need to capture up the Donphan to kill them. We just snipe them instead. So, Lysander, I'm comfortable at playing 1 of. We still get into him enough with 3 VS Seekers. So, yeah, it's worked for me so far. As long as you don't prize him, it's fine. 4 Skylar. Very important card to have in here. Finding your Spirit Link or finding your Ultra Ball. finding hammers or anything. Just so important, so good. As long as you have energy in your hand, Skylar's going to be the one you go for most turns, honestly. 4N can get you out of sticky situations if you've lost a couple of prizes early on. Like if you had to start with a Manectric EX against a Donphan player, it can be very strong. Just really good card. You know what N's here for. I feel like 4's the best count of him as well. We don't take prizes necessarily quickly, and we deny prizes as well, so he's not always active, but once again we have battle compressors, so if it is late game we can start dumping those ends in the deck as well. Finally, for Juniper, it's awesome. Even better because we can ditch energies early on and stuff, so amazing. Onto energies, like I say, 4 DCEs. It means that we can swing with Zapdos on turn 2, and it means that we can bring Mewtwo's here out of nowhere. When I mentioned Mewtwo, I only really talked about the Donphan matchup, but think about it. We've got Turbo Bolt charging up energies from the discard, we also have DCEs, we can stack up Mewtwo's for massive X-Balls, and if you think this deck doesn't have enough like OKO power, if you have a Mewtwo charging up on the bench for 1 or 2 turns, that all changes, especially when we have 4 DCEs in the deck, so you can't not really play DCE. I mean, all the cards benefit from it, and one of Manectric's energies is a colourless cost, so it doesn't really hurt to attach that turn 1, unless you're playing against like Yveltal. And finally, we're just playing 8 Lightning. It's enough to see it as much as you need, and of course we're cycling from the ditch, so you're never going to run out of energy as long as you're using Manectric, and having 12 energy overall is enough for the Zapdos Mewtwo combo when you're not having Manectric to excel, i.e. when you're against Donphan and when you're against other fighting decks. It works nicely. So 12 is a pretty good number, to be fair. So that's the deck. I hope you enjoyed, guys, and definitely look into this article. Very interesting how they sort of argue the case for this deck, and to be fair, I've gone along with it. The logic behind why this deck's good works. In terms of matchups, they're amazing, really. Yveltal, you have weakness on. Pyroar, you just destroy because you're a Mega, and they can't, and you can kill like back-to-back Pyroars and heal, and they can never one-shot you. Against Seismitoad, because our attacks are so cheap, and we also play Mewtwo, sorry, let me flip those around, it's very difficult for them to keep up with trade, even with hammers and stuff, and even if you're not able to Mega, it's fine as well. Against Donphan, I've explained why that's good. Against Recieving Genesects, it's pretty even. I mean, we do have the Spiritomb to help us out in that matchup, but either way, they're giving us 2 turns to set up ourselves, because they're trying to Emerald Slash and set up their board, and to be honest, I favour my side of the field after 2 turns of being allowed to do whatever I want, really, over their board. I mean, they can Emerald Slash once or twice and set up Genesects, but what are they going to do if we've got Spiritomb down? And we can start doing our healing shenanigans and dealing 110 each turn. It's very difficult to deal with, especially because we can come in with Mewtwo as well for cheap X-Balls on like 3 energy Genesects and stuff. If we don't have if we have Spiritomb down, Mewtwo's going to do well in that trade as well. What else is there, really? I've already described half the field, or maybe 80% of the field, so Manectric EX, very influential card really in the format. He's sort of putting a check to Yveltal. I don't know if he's doing it well enough at the moment, but with this decent counter to Donphan, I say give it a shot, really. Definitely test out this deck if you have your Manectrics and stuff. And it's seeing play in America, I guess, from a couple of players over cities and stuff, so keep an eye out for this deck, and I hope you enjoyed, guys. I've been Joe from Omnipoke. See you next time.